After something like this happens in a place like El Paso and understanding what San Antonio's like and the diversity here, just what you're feeling?
Well, it's infuriating, really, because we represent a city here in San Antonio that has derived its strength from our diversity. And we have a number of, the majority of our community were the ones who were quite deliberately targeted by this individual who carried out these shootings in El Paso. So my concern number one is to make sure that our community knows that they're safe here, and that when we see that kind of racism and xenophobia and bigotry rear its head, it's our duty to stamp it out. And it's also our job to make sure that people know we're doing everything we can to prevent these shootings from occurring in the first place, but also preparing for them because they've become a sad reality here in America.
I don't know if you feel this way, but for people of San Antonio, we understand when you live in a place like this, and similar to El Paso, that diversity is a part of what this town is.
Yeah.
And for someone to come from outside and do something like that, what does that say to you, or what's that concern like of understanding what our city is like?
Right. I think that again it's infuriating because the attacker went through such deliberate lengths to carry out these shootings. It's on us locally to protect our diversity and also to demonstrate that it's through this diversity that we've created harmony, that we've created community, that we've created strength. And so we have a responsibility to speak out to make sure that we continue to show our values in San Antonio as a compassionate place and take action to prevent these kinds of things from happening here and elsewhere.
Where do you go next with you and the city council? What is it that on a city level, because we know at national level and even at the state level it's tough, but what do you feel like you guys can do on the city level and the council to possibly get something rolling?
Yeah, well, again, it starts with recognizing the roots of violent activity in our community, encouraging our community to, if they see something, say something, whether it's online or it's out in the community, and also identify and not be scared of calling out racism and xenophobia and bigotry when they do exist. It's really important for us to do that, especially in this day and age when these kinds of behaviors have almost seem to be becoming normalized. In a community like ours, we can't stand for that.
From a mayor level, what have you seen as far as people reaching out to them, things like that, and understanding that? Yeah. I mean, because I know in Texas, unfortunately, this has happened in multiple areas, and that, I mean, we've gotten pretty good at the response and the help. What's it like seeing people being able to help a town like that?
Well, San Antonio has been, a victim of mass shootings before, and of course, more often than not, we have seen our neighbors, our family, our friends, and other communities reeling from disasters or mass violence episodes like this. And we have never failed to step up and offer a compassionate hand of help, offer assistance when it's needed. But in these cases, and again, the cries of enough is enough, we've heard too many times. In these cases, it's also important that we provide advocacy, support for the communities who want to see these crimes, these events end.
When you talk about wanting to talk to the city council about this and seeing if there's, what do you hope that you guys can do on this level to maybe combat something like this?
Well, again, I think it's number one, we have to make sure that the awareness that we're creating around issues of prevention, whether it's seeing something, saying something, those kinds of campaigns, making sure that our communities are prepared. One of our council members made a strong case to improve the level of casualty care kits that are available in big places, schools, and so forth. We need to do things like that, but we also need to make sure that we're having a dialogue and action around racism and bigotry that do exist in our communities and make sure that we drive that out.
Anything you think I'm missing? I think those Anything you'd like to add other than what we've talked about?
No, I think. Well, I guess one other thing is, we also need to recognize the names of the victims. Too often we spend focusing on the criminal in this case, but these are real people whose lives have been shattered, families who are left behind, and we need to recognize their names and in their names make sure we commit ourselves to action so that these things don't happen.